Pantothenic acid and biotin are probably two of the most underappreciated water-soluble vitamins, and I'll be discussing both of them today. Panthos means everywhere, and literally pantothenic acid is found in just about all foods. It can occur in either a free or bound form in food. It is a component of coenzyme A, which I'll refer to as CoA. But in order to be freed, the CoA form must be hydrolyzed to free the pantothenic acid. And it's absorbed in the jejunum, which of course is the second portion of the small intestine by passive diffusion. It's transported in its free form in the blood. We find the highest concentrations of pantothenic acid in the liver, the adrenals, the heart, kidneys, and the brain. It does play a major role in nutrient metabolism, the acetylation of proteins, sugars, and certain drugs, and it acts as a prosthetic group for acetyl carrier protein ACP for fatty acid synthesis. It's excreted intact in the urine. I've listed the adequate intake for you, which you can also find in your book, your textbook. Pantothenic acid deficiency is rare, but some of the symptoms may include something called burning foot syndrome, and it's usually not going to express itself alone. There will likely be other nutrient deficiencies present. There have been no reported toxicities, and in terms of assessment of nutriture, we would look at blood concentrations and urinary pantothenic acid excretion. I have not yet seen these in my years as a clinical dietitian actually being assessed, but this is the way, in fact, that it would be done if one was to assess pantothenic acid levels. Biotin actually was discovered as a result of something called egg white injury, and folks that ate raw egg whites were known to have hair loss, dermatitis, and a number of neuromuscular problems. And what was happening was avidin, which is a glycoprotein found in egg whites, was binding the biotin and causing these symptoms. Never was a problem for Rocky Balboa, but I'm assuming the textbook is correct. So we also know that this avidin is heat liable. So when you cook your egg, when you cook the egg white, it inactivates this avidin, and the biotin does in fact become available. Like pantothenic acid, it's widely available in foods: liver, milk, soybeans, egg yolk. And as I was talking about, the avidin in the raw egg whites binds biotin. Yet another reason not to eat raw eggs. Like I needed to tell you that. We all worry about salmonella. It's also made by bacteria in the colon. It's protein bound, and digestion is facilitated by enzymes. Absorption occurs in the proximal and mid-transverse colon. If you relied alone on the bacterial, the biotin made from bacterial synthesis, it would be insufficient for what our needs are. So it is absorbed in the small intestine by passive diffusion or carrier-mediated transport. So either the two methods of absorption occur in the small intestine. It's transported in its free unbound state, and it's stored just in small quantities in the muscle, liver, and the brain. This is a chart from your textbook, which I liked because it talks about the role of biotin and some of the enzymatic actions it's involved in. And you can see that it's necessary for gluconeogenesis. It has a role in fatty acid synthesis, and it does also play a role in metabolism of certain amino acids, and allows for the catabolism of leucine and certain isoprenoid compounds. So not really well known, but it does play a major role or an important role in some of these dependent enzyme reactions. In terms of metabolism and excretion, biotin hydrocarboxylases are catabolized to biositin, and then the biositin is degraded to lysine and free biotin. Any metabolites are excreted in the urine. Again, we're dealing with water-soluble vitamins. And the bacteria, the biotin from the bacteria that's not absorbed is excreted in fecal material. Adequate intake for adults and during pregnancy is 30 micrograms per day. Lactation increases by 5 micrograms. Deficiency is exceedingly rare. If you have somebody who's consuming in excess of raw egg whites, I really can't think of a good reason to be doing that. But if that is the case, you may see a biotin deficiency. There have been no reported toxicities, and blood and urinary excretion are used for assessment of nutriture. And that concludes my comments or coverage of biotin and pantothenic acid. Please let me know if you have any questions.